Okay, so my plan today, I'm going to go through 2.2, just do a brief overview. Then I'm going to go through the test. So anybody who wants to retake it, you'll have that available to you as well. So talking about 2.2, 2.1 was writing equations in slope-intercept form. 2.2 is writing equations in standard form. In standard form, the a is just the coefficient of x, the b is the coefficient of y, and c is a constant. Okay, so as an example, that's an equation in standard form. Okay, some questions you might get about equations in standard form. You may be asked to find the slope. You may be asked to find the y-intercept. You may be given 2 points and have to write the equation in standard form. Given the slope and a point, write the equation in standard form. So I'm just going to go through a couple of those examples. First off, if you want to find the slope in standard form, there's 2 ways to do it. Okay, I'm going to show you the long way first, and then I'm going to show you the short way. If you can remember the short way, it's going to save you a ton of time, but you'll have to actually pay attention and remember it. Otherwise, you have to do it the long way. Okay, the long way is to convert an equation to slope-intercept form. So in order to do that, I've got to get y by itself. Which is this, and then divide by 3. And there it is in slope-intercept form. Okay. The short way, if it's in standard form, the slope is equal to negative a over b. Negative a over b. And a, remember, is the coefficient in front of the x. B is the coefficient in front of the y. So if I take negative 2 over 3, I get the same slope. Negative a over b. Okay? The short way to find the y-intercept, what's the value of x for any y-intercept?
No.
What's the value of x, any y-intercept that you have? What's always the value of x in that coordinate point? 0. Okay? So if x is 0, that's the y-intercept. So if I cover up this term, because when x is 0, this term goes away, what is y? If this goes away, and I solve for y, what is it? 2. There's your y-intercept. Cover up the x, solve for y. The y-intercept's 2. Okay? If you get a problem like this on the ACT, and they say, find the slope and y-intercept of this, you could go through and put it into slope-intercept form and figure out what the slope and intercept are. Or I can look at it and tell you the slope's negative 4/5. This should be a y. And the y-intercept is 7/5. Can do that in about 5 seconds and move on to the next problem. Or take about 30 seconds and solve for y. And then hope I get it right. Okay, so if you remember, negative a over b is the slope in standard form. To find the y-intercept, just cover up the x. Solve for y. Okay. What if I'm given 2 points? What do I need to do to make an equation of this line? Find your slope. Okay. y2 minus y1. x2 minus x1. There's my slope. Right? If I wanted to do the triangle method, there's 1 point, negative 6, 8 is the other. I'm going down 7 units, so it's negative 7. I'm going right 7 units. I get the same thing, negative 1. Either method works. y2 minus y1 if you can remember it. Triangle method if you can't. Okay, so the slope's negative 1. How do I find the y-intercept? go ahead and write my equation, and then let's just pick this point. 1 equals negative 1 times 1 plus b. 1 equals 1 plus b, negative 1, sorry. Add 1, b is 2. So now my equation is, I don't need the 1 there, y equals negative x plus 2. So this is slope-intercept. What if I asked you to write this in standard form? What do I do? What's that? Good. Get x and y on the same side. How do I do that? At x. Yeah. So if I have y equals negative x plus 2, I'm just going to add x to both sides to get x plus y equals 2. And there it is in standard form. Okay, and let's check it. What's the slope? Negative a over b. A is 1, b is 1, slope's negative 1. That's what I got for the slope. The y-intercept's supposed to be 2. Cover up the x. Y is 2. Okay, so that's how to go back and forth from slope-intercept to standard form. Okay, how do I find the x? We know how to find the y-intercept in standard form. How do I find the x-intercept? Okay, but what's special about y when the line crosses the x-axis? What's the value of y? It's always 0. Just like the value of x is always 0 on the y-intercept, the value of y is always 0 on the x-intercept. So all I have to do is cover up the y, or turn it to 0, and solve for x. X is 3. So the x-intercept for this equation happens at the x-axis at 3. The y-intercept happens the y-axis at 2. Okay. When it's in standard form, the easiest way to graph is to actually find the x and y-intercepts, because all we need are 2 points. Right? And all we have to do is find the x and y-intercepts, connect them, we've got our graph. Don't take the time to convert a standard form equation into slope-intercept form so you can see what the slope and the intercept are to graph it. The easiest way to graph in slope-intercept form is to start at the intercept and use the slope to find your second point, right? The easiest way in standard form is to find the x and y-intercepts. So if you're looking for the fastest way to solve a problem on say, the ACT, that's how we do it. Okay, let's go through the textbook check. And this one is 2-2. Question 1, standard form is ax plus by equals c. Third one down. Question 2, if you're given an equation in standard form, what's the easiest method to graph the line? Plug in 0 for x and y and solve for your intercepts. The video presenter was Mr. Witt. This form is slope-intercept form, number 4. And number 5, one form of linear equations was presented in the video but not covered in the text. That was point-slope form. That's when you're given a point and the slope. You can use the point-slope form. It's on the poster up there in the green. Y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. Most of the time, you'll just use slope-intercept form or standard form. Okay, questions on this section? All right, so I'm going to stop this, and then I'll start recording for the test.